were taking a picture, sorry. Okay, so next up, we're going to have another first-time storyteller. So again, please be very supportive and clap a lot and pretend like you love him. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be great, but just in case. So, yeah, Nathan, I'm talking about you.
Hey, bitches! Wow, not nervous right now. Okay, so my name is Nathan Gemayal, and I have a few disclaimers. One, I've never written a story, nor have I told a story, except for in the first grade when I told everyone I was wearing Scooby-Doo underwear. And the only reason I did this was because I felt we needed to up the manhood because everyone had said that I was wearing Wonder Woman underwear. Not funny. It's not time to laugh. So, anyway, and my second disclaimer is that I usually try to be funny, but generally I just get crickets. So, my third disclaimer is if you just heard the first two disclaimers, then you should know this is a great idea to get a beer and head to the back. Maybe you have a deep conversation you need to have with someone, like they do in Garden State, I don't know. Anyway, so basically, when I saw the topic was home, and it was all about going home or running from home, I should say, I don't know. I thought this is the perfect time to talk about my Christmas vacation, if you will. Now, I love my family, I love my parents, and this is going on YouTube, so I have a great relationship with my parents. And anyway, but I always get anxious, and the reason I do is because, I don't know, here's the thing. Okay, so my parents do well with the whole parent-adult-child relationships. You know, they support me, they love me well, they allow me to be an independent person and make my own decisions. They're just not big with the whole not manipulating your kids part. So, anyway, so I always get kind of anxious. So, it's the 23rd, I'm driving home, I'm pulling up the driveway, and I should note right now that my parents, well, I grew up in the suburbs, and not only the suburbs, but the suburbs in the South. So it's like Sarah Palin on crack. So, anyway, so I pulled in the driveway, I walk up to the back door, I'm actually, I'm really excited to see the fam, and there's a beautiful Mary Engelbrett angel. I've never seen one so pretty in my life. I walk in the back door, and my mom turns around, and I swear to God, it's like I've been fighting the Russian Gestapo for the past 18 months. She's like, Nathan's here, So I'm very excited, we're all chatting, it's really good to see them, we're hugging. And so my mom loves Christmas. She's like the queen of Christmas. So there's 3 Christmas trees for her to show me, we got the fireplace, beautiful angels, nativity scene, the whole thing. She takes me around the corner, and there on the dining room table is the most beautiful set of candle holders that she bought at Pottery Barn. In fact, the same 5 candle holders that I bought her for Christmas. Super excited about this, So anyway, so we, I see the rest of the house, whatever. And so then we go out to eat, have some great wine. The following morning, hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Anyway, so the following morning, it's our Christmas Eve tradition. We always go for breakfast at Waffle House. And so we go in there, and I have an amazing all-star breakfast. And Crystal is an amazing server, by the way. Anyway, so we sit under this icy air conditioning blast. Why wouldn't you have the air conditioning on when it's 26 degrees outside? I don't know. So anyway, so we have this great Waffle House dinner, or breakfast, I should say. Anyway, so then we do the whole running errands, grabbing food at the grocery store, and we head back home because my parents' best friends, the Kirbys, are coming over for Christmas Eve dinner, as they do every year. Now, here's the thing about the Kirbys. I also love them. I grew up with them. They've always been good friends with my parents. They have kind of a weird relationship with each other. Like, for example, Miss Kirby has not worn her wedding ring in probably 7-8 years, and she goes and stays with her sister every weekend, and they go to an awful lot of dog shows. And Mr. Kirby does not like cucumbers, croutons, tomatoes, or cheese on his salad. So they have an odd relationship, to say the least. Anyway, so we have this amazing roast, and my mom makes amazing sweet tea because, you know, you're in the South and that's what you do. Of course, she has to make a separate thing of tea that's not sweetened because Mr. Kirby does not like sugar in his tea, nor does he like lemon in his tea. Nor does he actually, now I think about it, he doesn't like apple pie, despite the fact that apple cobbler is his favorite dessert. So, anyway, so we pack our things up, we gotta rush to church because we gotta be about 10:30 for the service. We sit down in our pew. I make the mistake of sitting right in between my mom and dad. And the only reason I say this is because my mom, in an effort to make sure that my dad is not falling asleep and snoring, makes a hell of a lot more noise than she ever would. So she's all, is he asleep? I shit you not, she was talking at that volume. I'm all, no, she's not. Or he's not, it's fine. And so, anyway, so we get to like the most intimate part of the night, and she reaches into her purse and pulls out this tin can of breath mints. She's like, you want any? And I just look at her like, no, be quiet, you know? So then she shakes the tin. She's like, they're breath mints. No, I don't want any. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, who the hell in here have I not seen the past 8 years that's looking at me being mothered by my mom? So I do what any normal person does. I scan the room on my way back to the pew after taking communion. You know, you do the whole, like here's the aisle. You do the whole, you know, because you need to know who's watching you and who hasn't seen you in forever. You know what I'm saying? So I sit down, and then we come to the end of the service after an unfortunate American Idol-esque version of Oh Holy Night. And I turn around to grab my coat, and who should be standing in front of me but my ex-girlfriend from... Well, okay, here's the thing. We dated for 2 years. I'm 34 now, so who the hell knows? Maybe she is the love of my life. I don't know. It's kind of pitiful. Wow, not much laughter. It's kind of scary. You all feel sorry for me. Anyway, so I lean down to get my coat, and she's standing in front of me, and here's the thing, like, we both kind of have this bitter, like, just a little tiny thing. I mean, it's been years ago. Come on. But there is that kind of still kind of competitive spirit, if you will. And so she's all, hey, Nathan, how are you doing? And I'm thinking, oh, shit. Hi, it's really good to see you, you know. And, of course, she's received her master's in chemical biology from Harvard. And, of course, she's standing beside her super insane rich husband, and they live in Beverly Hills now, which is awesome. You know, like, what the hell am I going to say to that, you know? So, in my nervousness, I say to her, so what, you live next to Brad Pitt now? Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Ex-girlfriend lives right next door to the house that Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt used to live in. So of course she says to me, so what are you doing now? I'm like, well, you know, I live in St. Louis. I'm in an apartment, 600 square feet. I'm a social worker, so I'm at the top of the list for the overworked and underpaid category. And I go to a coffee house on the weekend because I can get dollar refills with my travel mug. And she's all like, oh, you're so funny. That's funny, you know. So anyway, so we say our goodbyes. Really good to see her. I tuck my 12 between my legs and I head towards the car. So we're on our way to the car. And my mom is like, we got to get home. The Pope is on. I'm sorry. My mom was not born Catholic. She's never been Catholic. But every year on Christmas Eve, she will tell you, ever since I was a little girl, I've always watched the Pope on Christmas Eve. So she keeps on talking about hurrying to get home. You know, so we're in the car, we're on our way home, we're riding through downtown. And she's all like, we got to get home for the Pope. And finally I'm like, Mom, why didn't you just DVR the Pope? And I shit you not, this is her response. Face it, Nathan, technology is for the bitches. So of course my response is, what the hell is that supposed to mean? It's like, it's just weird. It's just, ugh, it's just unholy. You don't DVR the Pope. So we get home, wash dishes, change clothes. I myself was wearing an amazing maroon turtleneck. And, you know, my mom changes out of her full Lily Pulitzer garb. Seriously, I'm pretty sure she poops pink and green. I'm not sure. Anyway, so of course we watch the Pope, and finally at 2:30 in the morning we all return to our respective bedrooms. Following morning we get up for Christmas. It's really great. We're opening presents. My mom opens her candle holders from Pottery Barn. She's going to get to take back to find new crap to put in her house. I opened up my juicer, which I'm very excited. Montel Williams juicer, by the way. My mom is super obsessed with QVC, so that's where it came from, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so we pack up the car and we head towards the germ-ridden national of the world, otherwise known as my Aunt Marcia's house. The only reason I say this is because from probably like 7:30, 8 in the morning to like 10 o'clock at night, there were at least 3 kids running around. And I saw at least 2 of them like have snot, you know, running down their mouth. And I might have seen them on a number of occasions doing this one. Yeah, it's gross. I knew I was going to be sick after that one. So anyway, so the following morning we go to my Uncle Archie's house, and it's all good. And I grew up in this like super thick Lebanese family, and like you walk in the room and there's like 50 people with bushy eyebrows, and they're all talking at once, and they're like, you know, just shoveling into Kibby. Anyway, so it was great, had a good time, got to see a lot of people. However, there was a snowstorm in the south, so despite, you know, there were 3 inches of snow, so like half the people couldn't come. So anyway, so the following morning we head back to Kingsport, and then the next day I head back to St. Louis. Now here's the thing, like an hour into the trip I started not feeling okay. Like I was super achy and not on par, if you will. And so I thought, well, maybe it's just because I've been sleeping in random beds and been driving all over the place, so maybe that's the deal. So, like 3 hours after that, I stopped in the godforsaken town of Frankfort, Kentucky. And I apologize if you're from there, but I'm about to dump a big shit on your town. I need to pee like a mother, okay? And I'm hungry, and P.S. I'm about to fall asleep, and I only have 5 hours left in my trip. So I go to Hardee's, and I leave with a free bag of food because the person who took my order forgot to tell me that the cash register wasn't working, and that she was assuring me that I could have my food. She just put it under a heat lamp for 10 to 15 minutes. But I needed to pay for my food, but I couldn't do that because, of course, you know, the register was down. So finally she comes back, and she's like, okay, Happy New Year. You can just have your food for free. I think she could see the steam coming out of my ears at this point. So then I go to Starbucks, and after 10 minutes, I get my cup of coffee. 10 minutes for a cup of coffee. I'm not lying. I think somebody in front of me ordered 40 caramel frappuccinos. I'm not sure. So then I go to the gas station because, of course, you need to gas up as well. So, as I mentioned earlier, I needed to pee like a mother. So I park my car right by a gas pump. I'm going to gas up in a second. I'm going to go inside. The men's restroom is closed. I shit you not, because the hand dryer was down. So I asked the clerk, I'm the only person, P.S., in the whole store. Hey, do you think I can just use the women's restroom? No. Well, I noticed the hand dryer is down in the men's restroom, and therefore I can't use it. And she responds with a big no again. So I'm like, fine, I'm just going to go and gas up. So I go and gas up my car. Oh wait, I couldn't gas up my car because I pressed debit. So I walk inside, and I'm like, hey, the gas pump's not working. She's like, oh, we're not wired for debit cards yet. So I'm thinking to myself, welcome to the new millennium, Frankfort, Kentucky. So anyway, so I go back outside, and I press credit, and I leave without a receipt because I press, yes, I want a receipt, and it told me to see the people inside. So anyway, so I finally get back to St. Louis after sitting in a traffic jam in Indiana due to an unfortunate accident involving a deer and a truck full of toilet paper. And I arrived back here, and I literally feel like I jumped off a 30-story building, landing with a herd of elephants walking over my back. And I actually know this about the elephants because I got a $25 gift card from Borders, and I bought Planet Earth on Blu-ray. And I saw how determined they are to get from one place to another in order for water during the dry season. So Anyway, I get back to St. Louis, and over the next few days, I'm a foster care case manager, by the way, and so that involves a lot of visits. Well, I hadn't completed all my visits over the next 2 days. I drove around St. Louis on 40, 44, and 70 in a Robitussin-like fog. And so anyway, it was a really great trip home, and I'm glad I got to tell you about it.